Why do people hate Jews?
Yeah, so I wrote a book with a prominent Jewish writer, Rabbi Joseph Telushkin, many years ago. The third edition is coming out right now because of October 7th, called Why the Jews? And the reason we wrote it is that virtually everything written on it is wrong, in my opinion. So I'm really happy you asked me, and I'm really happy. I might give you an answer that's somewhat satisfying.
I hope so. And sorry, just to add, the reason I asked it partly is what you just said about the Jews having been involved in the various isms.
Right.
This is a theme that I see a lot of Jew haters use.
Yes.
But there are others, many, many others.
Right. By the way, I don't like a lot of these Jews either. But I'm not a Jew hater. No. There's a Jew not liker is not the same as a Jew hater. So I'll answer your question after I make the point about that.
Please.
Jew hatred is unique. It's the only ethnic or religious hatred that is exterminationist. Jew haters want to exterminate the Jews. 2,000 years ago, the rabbis wrote, which is said to this day by every Jew who has a Passover Seder. It's in the Haggadah, the Passover Seder liturgy. I'm debating, should I say it in Hebrew?
Or
just English?
English, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to say it in English.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's worth it. I rarely do, so I won't bother with the Hebrew. In every generation, someone arises, or literally they arise, to annihilate us. It's a very rare Hebrew word, but to annihilate, to end us, literally. This is a very interesting thing. The Brits and the Irish hated each other for a while. Germans and Poles hated each other. You name it. Russians and Ukrainians, whatever it might be. But only to this day, to Hamas, from Hitler to Hamas and before, Jew hatred is annihilationist. The Jewish people must be exterminated. It's unique. So that just establishes its uniqueness. So if there are non-Jews annoyed with Jews' activism in left-wing causes, I share that annoyance. But they're not annoyed. I don't hate Jews for that. I hate those people who mislead people. I hate Trotsky. Okay, I do. I hate his guts. But I'm not a Jew hater. I hate Trotsky. I feel that way about George Soros. Okay, but does it lead me to Jew hatred? That's what. If every Jew were saintly, Jews would still be hated. It's so. Here is this is back to your question.
Mm-hmm.
So the Talmud is this enormous work of 60 volumes. I think it's 60. It's larger. It's as large as the Encyclopedia Britannica. It's in Aramaic largely. It's the second holiest work of Judaism after the Bible. And the rabbis who wrote it about 1,800 years ago, they ask, why are the Jews hated? And you must understand, there are chapters devoted to arcane legal questions. Can you eat an egg that was laid on a Jewish holiday? Has an entire volume, okay? You're allowed to laugh, don't worry about it. It's okay. Yet you would think anti-Semitism would take 5 volumes. It takes up maybe 5 lines because it wasn't complex. And here I have to use the Hebrew because people will understand when they hear it. It's a play on words. The word for hatred is sinah, and the word for Sinai is Sinai. It sounds almost the same, right? The great sinah comes from Sinai. The great hatred comes from Mount Sinai. And there was a Catholic scholar who wrote a book on anti-Semitism, Edward Flannery, who's a priest, he's a bishop. He wrote, the Jews have never been forgiven for introducing a judging God into the world. no matter how Jews behave, religious, secular, bad, good, there is a metaphysical reality to Jewish existence. And that is evil focuses on the Jews. And many non-Jews dismissed Hitler as the Jews' problem, to their great error, because it ended up with 60 million people, minus 6 million, 52 million, 54 million roughly were killed as a result of Hitler. And the staggering ramifications of all that suffering. The Jews are the canary in the mine. For those who don't know, apparently miners would take canaries to the mine. They would die before the miners knew there were noxious fumes. So the miner saw the canary die and knew, oh, there are noxious fumes, let's fight them. Let's destroy the fumes. That's the Jew is the miner's canary. So you have a choice if you're a non-Jew. Oh, look, the canary died. Too bad. Who knows why the canary died? Or you could say, oh, we know why the canary died. There are noxious fumes that need to be fought. So it's irrespective, whether Jews are nice or not nice. Jews are a mixed bag like every group on earth. There are great Jews, awful Jews. By the way, I do remind this because, again, most of my life is to and with Christians. When a Christian leaves Christian belief, no one calls him a Christian. When a Jew leaves Jewish belief, he is still called a Jew. I'm stuck with George Soros. George Soros is as Jewish as this glass, but everyone says he's a Jew. Whereas, nobody says Stalin is a Christian, but he was born to Christian parents in Georgia. He went to seminary as a kid. But nobody says, oh, Stalin the Christian, he slaughtered 20 to 30 million people in the Gulag. No, they just say Stalin. But if Stalin were born to Jewish parents and rejected Judaism completely, just like Trotsky did, say, oh, Stalin was a Jew. So it's a double standard in effect. I'm not blaming people because Jews also believe that. If you're born to Jewish parents, you are a Jew, because Jews are an ethnicity as well as a religion. Christianity is just a religion. So they get to disqualify whoever they want. We don't get to disqualify anybody. But the hatred coming from Sinai, the Jews, we have this crappy role that the bad focus on us. I mean, let's be honest. Anti-Semites have not been among the finest people in any given society. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why when Hamas are described as, Palestinian liberation fighters or whatever other term is used, the absurdity of it, the moral absurdity, they're today's Nazis. That you can finally use the word Nazi for someone who wasn't a German in the 1930s or 40s. They want to exterminate the Jews. They claim it. And Israel, Israel is often charged with being an island of Western civilization in the Middle East. That's exactly what it is. That's correct. And it's hated because it's essentially good. That's the irony. I mean, it's not hated by good people. It's hated by bad people. Is every Israeli a wonderful human? Of course not. But it doesn't matter. So when if someone says, Jews have played a disproportionate role in creating left-wing movements, it's either true or not true, and it is true. And I'm very unhappy about it. When Jews leave Judaism, and specifically belief in the divinity of the Torah, that's really what you've got to believe. Something is divine. Whether you believe in God or not is irrelevant. My question to people is not, do you believe in God? Because I know nothing about you. If I know you believe in God, I know nothing about you or your values or even your God. What text did God reveal? That's the question that matters. And so anyway, that's that. I hope that partially answers. This is the role Jews have played.
But I don't understand why. You mentioned the Sinai. The introducing and judging. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't
Oh,
understand.
yeah.
that.
Well, because people don't want to be told, first of all, they don't want to be told that they're judged. It's a very, very annoying thing. I have asked my colleagues at PragerU to do an experiment to buy billboard space on American highways, just 10 billboards across the country. And that would say something like, yes, it is true God loves you, but it is equally true that God judges you. Have a nice day. It will annoy innumerable people. People don't want to be judged. It's huge. And the Jews introduced not a God who judges Jews. Of course he judges Jews, judges everyone. That's a big deal. The Ten Commandments applies to everyone. It was given to the Jews, but it applies to everyone. That's why I'm writing my Torah commentary, and I write in the foreword of the Rational Bible. The idea that the Torah is only relevant to Jews is like the idea that Beethoven is only relevant to Germans or Shakespeare is only relevant to the English. It's either universally relevant or it's irrelevant. There's no such thing as only relevant to a group. Then I don't even understand the concept. Is French literature only relevant to French people? It's an absurdity.